But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With the rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be okay.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Yo ho, yo ho. Welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is the show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and of course, we're streaming on Rockfin, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope, and we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And as always, as part of the transparency process, as part of the crowdsourced shows that we do, which of course means we include you as part of the conversation, we have an open phone line. And like I always say, it's completely fine to doubt the things I say because I'm not an expert in anything. And that's why I like to share my sources, share my links, get the information, and give it straight to you guys because, like I said, it seems ridiculous sometimes because I talk about all kinds of crazy stuff, but there are sources out there, and at least internet sources that corroborate this stuff, and that's why I like to give them to you. It's part of that whole transparency process. I was looking at something last night, as a matter of fact, and it was one of those, are these people reptilian type videos or something like this, right? And I was like, hold on, what's going on here? And it was like a zoom in of like their necks were bulging and things like this. And I was like, okay, so it's like a screenshot but it was kind of off kilter. So it didn't tell you like what news. I didn't recognize the news anchor. It was like some news anchor with like a bulgy neck. And I was like, like kind of like unnaturally bulgy. And, the headline of the video was something to the effect of, are these people reptilians? Like, but of course, right? They didn't source the original footage, which means it was probably manipulated, right? And that's what I'm saying. So it's in this post-truth world we live in, I think we have to be very careful about our sources, first off. And then next, we have to be make sure that we do have a link back to whatever we're talking about. Just, again, in the name of transparency, it's an important thing to me. Like I said, I'm not making this stuff up. Most of the time, I'm just here's where this came from, and that's really what the goal is here. So as we do it and continue and talk about this, I said a crowdsourced show, and what I mean by that is the way this works is it's not a regular typical radio show as you may be used to. It's a conversation. It goes two ways. So I begin the conversation, and then we have a phone line which we'll get to in just a sec, and you guys are welcome to call and be part of this. And these shows are open-ended, hopefully non-linear, and hopefully entertaining, and that's really what this is all about. A little bit of something to make you think and keep you on your game. Keep your mind tuned up to all the possibilities, because you never know. You never know what's possible out there, and that's kind of what we do. And so if you want to be part of the show tonight at any point, we're talking about dreams, by the way, and premonitions in dreams. Is it possible to actually see the future while you dream, and what triggers that? And I've got an article here we'll get to in just a bit with it starts with a scientific explanation, which I thought was interesting. But if you want to be part of the show, I promised a phone number. Here it is, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and also come join the Fringe Discord, please, at fringe.fm/chat, and that will give you a direct invite. Discord, of course, is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's free, and that's how we communicate all over the world with our friends from all over the world without long-distance toll charges. It seems ridiculous in this day and age that that's still a thing, but, well, I guess it's still a thing. So so we found a way around it, and it's called Discord. There you go. All right, so as we continue talking about this stuff as we begin, actually, let's start here. Let's begin with this. Now, this is an interesting article. We talked about this actually on the news show on Monday afternoon, and it kind of piqued my interest because there's some things here that, science, right? I love science, and I love when science says, well, now we know the answer. Okay, all right, cool. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's see if science knows the answer to this. And this is the headline. This is from mindbodygreen.com, and headline reads this: Ever had a dream that predicted the future? Here's a neuroscientist approved explanation. And so before we get into it tonight, dreams are usually one of our more popular topics. And so I saw this article. I thought this was perfect because we've talked about out-of-body experiences. We've talked about maybe astral travel in your dreams, maybe the inception effect, where it's like layers of dreams within dreams, sort of the micro and the macro. What happens when you're dreaming? What happens in lucid dreams? We've talked about all this stuff, but we haven't in particular really covered this exact thing. And being that this article just came out a 3 days ago, I thought it was appropriate that, hey, maybe it's time to talk about premonitions in dreams. And that's what we're talking about tonight. So if anybody out there has had a dream where you were able to tell the future, and maybe you had just had a standard dream and you didn't think anything of it, but then a couple days later, maybe a few weeks later, a few months later, your dream came true. Anybody out there? Anybody have a dream like this? Does anybody have this ability? Because if you do, I'm going to put in a request for some winning lotto numbers. Can we do that? Can anybody help us with that? Yeah. All right. So that's what the deal is. And I make the joke about the winning lotto numbers. You'll get to this. You'll see the joke in a sec as we continue carrying on here. But all right. So this article starts like this. Right from the article, and this was written August 23rd, and it starts like this: Have you ever had a dream that turned out to foreshadow the future? You wouldn't be alone. Call it divination or call it the power of the brain, but many people have experienced déjà rêve. I guess that's, the feeling of dreaming something before it happened at one point or another. You'll have to excuse my French literally because I don't know how to pronounce that. So we're gonna pretend like I speak French, all right? And I pronounce that perfectly. But let's continue. According to neuroscientist and author of The Oracle of the Night, The History and Science of Dreams, Siddhartha Ribeiro, PhD, said there could actually be some science behind the experience of the premonitions in the dreams. Here's what he had to say when we asked him about this strange phenomenon. Based on his research in the dreams, Ribeiro thinks there is a very real chance they have a predictive function, but not the way you think, meaning our brains have a predictive function that it's built in. And so, of course, what does that mean? Does that mean that we are actually of some sort a fortune-telling species? Are we able to turn this on or off? I don't know. Like, this is the thing. I've never had any premonition dream type of thing that came true, but I have heard of people that have this thing happen to them. And so as you know, that's the conversation tonight. That's where we're going, and you guys are welcome to be a part of it at any point. That's 702-957-1037. But let's read just a little bit more. We get a call coming in and we'll take it in just a sec. But here we go. Yeah, this stuff is interesting. Here we go. All right. In other words, so here we go. So he quote, so we have a predictive function in our brain, he says, and quote, it's not a deterministic oracle that can predict what's going on, he suggests, but rather it's a very sophisticated, probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past, and it simulates possible futures. And interestingly, right, we were talking about this when we did the news show and on Monday with this article, just briefly, because we just do kind of news hit briefs on that show. But interestingly, it kind of brought to mind Doctor Strange in the movie, right? In what was that called? The Infinity War, right? Where he was in that trance-like state where he was simulating millions of possible futures based on different actions and outcomes, and he was in that and he's going through all this stuff, and it kind of reminds me of the same thing here. I mean, think of it. The guy, so this neuroscientist describes it like this. Once again, he says this: the brain, in this case of fortune-telling dreams, seeing the future in your dreams, says this. It's not a deterministic oracle that can predict what's going to happen, he suggests, but rather it's a very sophisticated, probabilistic, neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures. And I know I just read that, but I read it again because it's so critical what he's saying there. And he's suggesting that our brain is always ahead of us. And as such, you could even argue that maybe our brain is in that probabilistic sort of Doctor Strange scenario where it's trying to find the truth, the future truth, right? The future, whatever, prediction models. And is this happening passively? Does this happen when we dream? And what the heck is going on with this? And this is what I'm saying, right? If anybody out there has had dreams like this, an actual premonition in the dream and the rest of these things, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys, because this is the most fun when we get together and we talk about dream states and things like this, because it's such a wide, really, because it can kind of go anywhere. Like I said, the Inception effect, where it's worlds within worlds, or stepping outside of your own body in sort of a astral travel sort of situation. Dreams have been predicted to be or speculated to be many of these, and so interesting. That's what this is all about. So if you guys want to be part of the show, have you had a dream like this? What do you think this is? Do you think there is some sort of deterministic model in our brain that's constantly working to try and tell the future through predictions and running through what we had in the past? Interesting stuff. So once again, this is from a neuroscientist by the name of Siddhartha Ribeiro, and this article again is from mindbodygreen.com. There we go. So let's go to, I think this is this looks like Vicky in Illinois. Vicky, welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Hi, Michael. I'm fine. I have a lot of those dreams. Usually it tells me who's going to die right before they die.
Whoa, like that? That kind of, holy smokes. How often does this happen to you? Hopefully not a lot.
Oh, it happens a lot. It's happened to me, like, a lot of times I know before somebody's going to die. I've even had it at the time that they're dying.
Wow.
My body had went there and overwatching everything's happening, and I knew that it was real. They died. Like my parents, I knew before they died that they were going to die. I knew where my brother was where we were going to have his funeral before he died, and he never told me that. And weird things on the way to his funeral that I had seen. But when I used to work at the nursing home as the activity director, if I was going to be off on the weekend, a lot of times I'd have a dream about somebody, and I would know that they were going to die that weekend, and I would say something to the social worker, you know, keep an eye out for Mr. or Mrs. whoever, and that I had a dream that they were going to die, and they died.
Holy smokes! That's a curse. That's not something to. I'm sure that's not a good feeling, right? Like that's one of the worst ways to be able to tell the future. If you can see when people are about to pass away, man, I can't even imagine. That would horrify me. Just because, right? How about this? Have you ever had a dream where you thought somebody was going to pass away like that and they didn't? Have you been wrong, and you were surprised?
I've always done things where if I something that I make sure to say things to people so to try to counteract it. And my brother Bill, he had passed already, but he and I grew up like twins. We're like Irish twins, a year apart, and we looked alike, and always I knew what he was, something wrong with him when he went into the military and I went into the military. We'd be in a different country, but I knew that something was wrong with him. And since he's died of cancer, he's come to warn me about different things. And he showed me when I was going to have a wreck and hit a deer. And he told me to look to the right, look to the left, look to the right. And right where he showed me where it was going to happen, it happened.
Wow. So there's something to this, to not just telling the future, but maybe contacting other people that maybe will help with these premonitions. That's an interesting take on this. I hadn't considered the source of where the information may be coming from. And as you know, that's why we do it in this format, just because you never know. Like if it's more important to hear straight from you and your experiences than reading from any PhD, in my opinion. And fantastic stuff as always, Vicki. Anything else you want to add to this with premonitions and dreams for anybody else out there?
I don't feel that it's necessarily a curse. I used to think that way when I was young because it was hard for me to deal with. But I feel that God has given me this ability to make life easier for me so I can deal with it because I'm a big pushover, you know, and I don't want to see anything happen to anyone.
Amen to that.
It made it so I could be better.
Absolutely, amen to that. Thank you so much, Vicki, for sharing your story. Like I said, it's interesting when you get enough people together. If we get some calls tonight, guys, maybe we have an idea of where this sort of premonition dreaming comes from. Maybe a source here. Vicki has been in contact with her passed away brother, and maybe that's where some of this information comes from. Vicki, you are the best. I appreciate you listening. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
Even parents who passed has come and warned me about things like before I had a heart attack. That's when they used to always contact me when something was going to happen. And my brother, since he had died, my brother that's 1 year older than me, he's come and warned me to tell things to my sister-in-law, his wife, because he was worried about it. And it was exactly spot on. But in my family, my grandmother, my real grandmother, my father's mother, she was a witch. I never saw her. She had died right before I was born. But I don't know. I think I have a gift from her But my mom has a gift too. My mom knows when things are going to happen. Well, she did. Used to know when things were going to happen before they happened. Like if the house caught on fire or anything like that, she'd always know. And we'd know, like, even my big brother, when he was in the military and in the Navy, when he was overseas on the ship, and my grandmother saw him walking, like, in the middle of the water, like, on the right side of the water, left water, the little place he's walking down, and he was really, really ill. And they had to evacuate him to take him to Greece because he had hepatitis from being on the ship and stuff and dealing with people. But he had to go for an emergency to Greece.
Gotcha.
And
hey,
my grandma.
Hey, Vicky, I hate to cut you off. We got a call behind you. We got to squeeze in just before the break. Okay. Thank you so much for calling. Thanks for sharing your experience. If you want to call back in the third hour, you're definitely welcome. If you have more dream experiences you want to share. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate the call. Great stuff from Vicky. As always, if you guys want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. And this is the thing. We're talking about dreams tonight, in premonitions and dreams. And where do you think this comes from? Is anybody out there able to maybe tell the future through your dreams? Let's go to, I'm not sure who this is. Welcome to the show. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
It's Michael from Ohio.
Michael from Ohio. How are you, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Premonitions and dreams, I can remember back to as early as 10. Whenever a dream was extremely vivid, it was most definitely a premonitionary dream that would come true. Some of them were very trivial in far of, telling what was going to happen. Unfortunately, some of the other ones were not so well as far as their subject matter. I think one of the ones, I saw a plane crash once, and then that happened the day after. To know something like that and see it and not really be able to do anything about it is sort of a curse for sure.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like to me, like if I had a dream and it was going to be something bad, and it's almost like you try and blame yourself, like I would, right? I mean, it seems like a curse to me. That's pretty horrific. So it's something that's been recurring throughout your life? You've had it for a long time.
Yeah, and I never knew it, but until this last year, I spoke with my father and my brother, and they say they both have the same ability.
Interesting.
And they've just never said it to any one of us until my dad just turned 87. So it seems like a lot of that stuff runs on the female side of the family, and it was just strange to find out it runs on my male side of the family.
Yeah, I was going to say that about Vicky too. It does seem odd that it may be in the bloodline somehow. Yeah, fascinating stuff. We got maybe about 30, 40 seconds left. Anything else while we got you on the phone?
Well, I will say this. My ability to trust that, I was a triple engineering major, and I decided to quit school when I had a premonitionary dream about involving that.
Really?
I've shown technology since.
Interesting. Wow, fantastic stuff. Do you want to stick around? You got more to talk about? If you want to wait through the break, I'll keep you on here.
I think I'll go. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate the call. Thank you, Michael in Ohio. I appreciate you sharing your stories. That's what we're talking about tonight, guys. We're here sharing our experiences with premonitions and dreams. Do you think it's possible to tell the future from a dream state? And not only that, where is this power coming from? Does it run in the bloodline, as Vicky and Michael suggested? Or is it something else entirely? You guys tell me, because I don't have the answers. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. Thank you to Michael and Vicky for kicking us off with the calls tonight. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds and you after the break. right, welcome back to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope, and we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And we're taking your phone calls tonight. We're talking about dreams. Can anybody out there actually tell the future in a dream state? And if that's the case, we'd love to hear from you. And where do you think this power comes from? Is it in the blood, as people have suggested? It's a gift that maybe runs in the family? Or do you think it's something else entirely? Like maybe Vicky suggested, information is coming from deceased loved ones. That's the question tonight. Lots of things on my mind about this, and I'd love to hear your story. Like I said, dreams is a very popular thing because everybody dreams. And me, myself, currently, I just don't remember my dreams very much. I'm sure I dream like probably like everybody else, like dream like crazy, but I just can't seem to remember them. I don't keep a dream journal or anything like that. And we have a lot of smart folks here that do. They have vivid dreams. They can control their dreams, lucid dreams, things like this, right? And they do keep dream journals. We had, I believe it was Lacey called in last time and was describing that same experience for herself. And I don't know. So the science of dreams is kind of a slippery fish, right? And so we have this neuroscientist where we began tonight discussing this, and he believes that there's a predictive mechanism in the brain that will kind of go through different scenarios, from knowing where we are in the present to considering what the future may hold, and some sort of like predictive kind of going through scenarios passively while you're sleeping, and that this is what those premonitions and dreams mean. And again, let me read this real quick. He says, it is not a deterministic oracle, he's talking about the brain, that can predict what's going to happen, he suggests, but rather it's a very sophisticated probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures. That one line right there is a mouthful and pretty mind-blowing. That maybe it is. Maybe it's a built-in mechanism and it has nothing to do with woo-woo or paranormal or anything like that. Maybe it's something that's locked into us, and maybe some people have learned to access it. So good stuff. If you guys want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's go to, who is this? Looks like Jay. Welcome to the show. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening. How you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
Great. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. Go right ahead. What's on your mind? What's your first name, actually? I need to know what to call you.
Hey, this is JR.
JR. What's up, buddy? Welcome back to the show. Go right ahead. What's on your mind? What do you think about this dream stuff?
So yeah, I hadn't put too much thought into the dreams. Of course, when I was a little kid, I would dream a lot more, right? Very vivid, very intense, like you were somewhere and it was very detailed, but when you try to touch it, obviously, touch something and maybe you would wake up and you would never get the full grasp is what I'm trying to get to. But I would go to bed sometimes with something on my mind, something positive, something a little different, right? And I would try to remember what I had dreamt about. Well, now that I'm an adult, I'll go about my daily routine, and I'll have these synchronicities or these like signs, these weird things that go about now, especially with everything kind of going on, just kind of things that help me, that don't allow me to, like, how you say, like, deviate course. But it just makes me feel like I'm in the right moment. Like those dreams I had, like I get a feeling like, it's like a deja vu. It's like I just went about my daily routine and something happened where I had this feeling that made me feel like that had me divert back to a dream or something that caused me to have a feeling that brought me to a state of knowing that I'm in the right place, right?
Okay.
Does that make any type of sense?
Yeah, I follow you. Is it recurring? So you're starting to realize that you have this ability, Is it something you can control? Where do you think this comes from? Do you think it's us fooling ourselves, or do you think it's really some sort of synchronistic happening here? Is there something larger going on?
It has to be. I mean, I feel like dreams are very powerful, and that's why. I mean, it's very easy to not. It's very easy for your mind to be consumed with something else, to not allow you to dream. Basically, I guess what I'm trying to say. But I think they're powerful, and I think there's a lot of meaning behind dreams. I think if you can harness that, and I haven't spent much time, and I'm just interested in the conversation that you're talking about it, because I feel like if you could harness that and learn how to control those thoughts, especially before you can go to bed, you can start to manifest more things into your realm, right? I know with me, and like just making deals and things like that, I just I divert back to that, and it's a spiritual thing, and I mean I feel like dreams are very important. I remember back when I was a teen, right? Like smoking a little pot here and there, occasionally. I wouldn't dream, and I thought it would be the weirdest thing. And then I would go cold turkey for a little while, and whoa, the dreams would be intense. I don't know if that made any sense.
That's interesting. It's interesting, right?
But,
so it's like, so the brain is susceptible to the dream state and what you do prior to sleeping. Just like you said, if you can control it somehow, set a manifestation of what that dream state will be, then that's a powerful thing indeed. Sort of harnessing the power of the unconscious mind. That's amazing, man. Real great stuff. Have you ever had an actual premonition in a dream that literally just came true, and it was so locked in that you shocked yourself?
You know, I was sitting just a moment ago sipping a little dandelion root. I had really been enjoying, right? And I was really trying to think about it. I was really trying to. And I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, but more times than not, like it's kind of something negative that I'll remember, so I'll get it out in the open. So like, and I've heard like if you dream about something bad and then you get it out, so it doesn't so it doesn't come true, basically. But I've not off the top of my head can I say I've had premonition.
Gotcha.
What about yourself?
No, never. It's never happened to me. I don't know if it runs in the family because, like somebody said earlier, Michael, when he called, it's not really something people talk about. Like, oh, hey sis, do you have any premonitions in your dreams this week? You know what I'm saying? It's so I don't know. I can. Right. I got family close by. I can ask on a commercial break here. I got somebody in the house and see if they had a.
Let us know.
I'll let you know. I will let you know if it maybe runs in the family. JR, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much for listening. And thanks for being part of this.
Is more of the. Yeah, thank you, sir. Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. That's JR from the internet. I don't know exactly where he's from, but he's a friend, and thank you for the phone call. And what we're talking about tonight, guys, is premonitions and dreams. Can you tell the future with your dream state? And if so, where does that power come from? Do you think it's sort of a latent, built-in function of our brain, like this neuroscientist suggests in this article from mindbodygreen.com? This article suggests this. The Siddhartha Ribeiro, PhD, says this, and like I said, this quote, I'm going to keep reading this because there's so much here in like 30 words. Check this out. He's talking about the brain and talking about premonitions, all right, in these dreams, and it goes like this. He says the brain is not a deterministic oracle that can predict what's going to happen. But he suggests, but rather it's a very sophisticated, probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures. And so is it again like something like an organic part of built into our brain function as the rest of this, or is it something else? Do you think it's a little woo-woo? Do you think it's even possible, or is it maybe a coincidence type thing? That's what we're talking about tonight. We're discussing dream states, and is it possible to tell the future in your dreams? And more importantly than that, has it happened to you? Have you ever had an experience where you dreamt of something and it absolutely bang on happened exactly like your dream? That's what's on my mind tonight, and that's what we're talking about. And if you want to be part of the show, just give us a call. Phone number is this, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Just click the Discord link. It's right on top of the page. And also the phone number is right on top. So if you need anything from Troubled Minds, it's all there. Troubledminds.org is the official website, and there you go. All right, let's keep on trucking. Let's read just a little bit more of this article to kind of get some more context on what this guy's talking about. But when I read this, I thought, it does sound like a Night Stalker made a comment a little earlier that it seems like this is suggesting our brain is somehow kind of going through an algorithmic search for the future, right? Like it's trying to predict what may happen based on past events, okay? Which seems like, something you would expect of like a quantum computer working in overtime, right? Going through different possible scenarios of based on history and world data and trying to figure out what's going to happen in the future. Is our brain actually doing that and really kind of spitting out information and making estimated guesses, I guess you could say. And so that's what's on my mind tonight. This premonitions and dream stuff. Is it possible that it's something more than just our brain trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together and kind of taking shots in the dark, as it were, to figure out what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month? And I don't know. Like I said, it depends. Of course, it depends. If you ask 1,000 different people, you'll probably get 1,000 different answers, and that's okay. I think that's what's the important thing about this is you got to listen to what people's experiences are. If you actually dream of things and they happen, and it's happened more than once or often, well, you're in the right place. We'd love to hear from you. So give us a call. Appreciate that a lot. Let's go back to this article for just a little bit. So he says this, right? So after that, it's a very sophisticated probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures. He continues here. The article continues anyway. In other words, our dreams are constantly putting out potential scenarios for what the future could look like, based on what our brains know of the past. And think of it like this. This article continues. We know that dreams play a role in consolidating memories. In doing so, they help us learn and prepare for the future and are a source of new ideas and creativity. Ribeiro tells MBG, which is mindbodygreen.com, where this article came from. And quote, on top of the neurobiological processes at play, you have the dream level that's symbolic and related to your life in a predictive manner, meaning that some of it may eventually prove true to your experience. And so, again, I don't know. Is it? It seems like kind of the same discussion of, again, the macro and the micro. Things seem to be the same, right? At small scales and at large scales. And maybe ideas, maybe dreams are exactly this. And I don't know. Do you think it's possible to have these oracle type dreams where you know the future? And has it ever happened to you? Like I said, we're taking your phone calls. I can ramble on all day and all night because, well, that's what I do. I'm a talk show host after all. But I'd rather hear from you. If you want to be a part of the show tonight, do you have dreams where you can predict the future? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight?
Fine. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. What's on your mind, my friend? Do you think this is there's something to these premonitions and dreams, or is it, as this PhD suggests, that it's just our brain trying to predict the future in a more organic way?
I think that that professor's probably spot on. Throughout the day, we're picking up information all around us, right? Then we go to sleep, and then our brain takes that information, evaluates that information, and tries to come up with its best guess at a probable tomorrow.
Okay. And so if you have a premonition in the dream, then you think it's a coincidence? You think it's one of those types of incidences?
No, I think that professor is correct. I think when you have a premonition in a dream, and it could be something else, and I'll get into that in a minute, but if you have a premonition in a dream, it's probably because your computer brain has evaluated all the information, not just from today, but all, whatever information is left over from the day before, and comes up with its best guess of what's likely to happen. It's just the way it does it sometimes that makes it difficult to decode it, because you see these things in abstract. Everything's mixed up, like you have a dream that's just thrown together and different. It's not quite. It's not like the beginning, the middle, the end. Everything is convoluted, and you have to try to make your best guess at what it was trying to say. Now, me, I dream every night, and I posted a comment about that, said I would call. But I never dreamed of being a woman until last night. All right. And that was a trip.
I'll bet.
The interesting thing about it was that I was some female spy, and I was spying on some upper-class people in a political event. I believe it was a political event because Como was in it. And I was scanning papers on a scanner in one of those office, little small catacombs where you have the printers and the space scanners. I scanned these papers, and I just had this one scrunched up paper that I put on the scanner, and was closing the lid when I got caught. Someone walked in on me, and then the interesting thing about it was, when I walked outside, there's a large room. Everybody's in this large room. There's a lot of people. They're all sitting at these tables and chairs, and outside I could see Como. All right, he's with a bunch of people eating, at tables and chairs on the outside, and I'm thinking to myself, they're not talking to me. They're ignoring me because I betrayed, my class, their class, whatever. I betrayed them. They caught me at it, all right? And then it went to, I needed a cigarette, and I went, and I was leaning against a pillar on the outside, and here comes my sister. And some of her children, they're grown people now, and I think I can get a cigarette off of her. And then I realized I'm a bit estranged from my sister. In real life, I am. And so I don't think I really want to ask her. So I think I look up and I see a little shop up the road. I think I can get cigarettes there, and that's where the dream ends. Okay?
All right.
So why I put that all out there is I know that you got some people listening who are pretty skilled at dream interpretation. If they caught what I had to say there, I'd appreciate if they would call in or chat and give me some idea what they think that dream is all about. Oh, by the way, I anticipate some sort of question about, well, you were a female in this dream, all right? What was that like? And I can tell you it was nothing. It's like I don't relate to my body as something separate from me. I'm just saying it was no different than I am now. All right, I had no real interest at that moment about being female. I just was. Now, as far as the other part of it, besides what the professor had to say, I've often felt, matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this is the real reason what's going on here. Every time you go to sleep, you're, from the edge of the universe, wherever that virtual reality hologram is being projected from, downloads the next day's script into your brain. You ever find yourself talking, but we talk, but we don't think our words before we say them, do we? All right? I think that we all rehearse in our dreams. I think maybe that's part of what that dream was about, that I was just relating, is that maybe what was really going on is I was at a rehearsal. Excuse me. And all these people that were there were part of the script. They were, it was a rehearsal, and I think that could be it, because I really do think that what we're going to do the next day every word we're going to say, everything about the following day is downloaded as a script into your brain from the edge of the universe or wherever it all comes from.
Gotcha. So,
and that's
so it
why
is.
Sometimes we have that's why sometimes we can have premonitional dreams.
Because we have the information
we
already.
Have advance on the script.
Interesting. So it's about connecting with that information and finding out what the script is before it plays out in real life. Interesting. I like the idea, man. Fantastic stuff. We got about a minute left. Anything else while we got you on the phone, my friend?
No, but I'd be very interested if anybody wants to take that dream I just recited and take it apart and tell me what they think it might mean.
There you go.
I mean, I don't really think of Como too much, but I don't know why he was there.
It's funny, Cuomo was in your dream. Which Cuomo? Was it the governor or was it his brother, his doofus brother that's on CNN? The governor. Okay.
The governor. And that may be part of it. That may be part of it because, all that was going on, with the news, and that's part of the brain, the computer trying to evaluate that information and then put it in the dream. Who knows?
Right. Interesting. Night Stalker has a question for you in the chat. Did his sister's kids recognize him as a different person? Did anybody recognize you were actually Robert, just a female version?
Well, they never got close enough.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, I quickly realized I did not want to ask her for a cigarette.
Okay.
All right, because we were not getting. We're not getting along.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough. Okay. Got it. Robert, you were the best, my friend. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate the story.
I'll talk to you later.
Thanks a lot. Have a great night. That's Robert from Pennsylvania, and old friend of the show, and he's responsible for sending a nice email that got us into Rockfin. So thank you again to Robert for being enthusiastic, sharing all kinds of great stories like he always does. And does anybody want to take a crack at that dream on what it actually means? Yeah. See, this is why when you get together with a bunch of amazing people, you just never know what kind of stuff is going to come out of this, because we all have bizarre dreams. And so the question tonight is, in those dream states, maybe as Robert suggested, a premonition in a dream may be a download of the script for tomorrow, like it's all been written already. And so maybe your dream is accessing that dream state, that script that's being put out there, and who knows? I don't know. You tell me. As you're aware, I am not the answers guy, I'm the questions guy. And we're going to keep asking these questions. And the thing is this, I don't know. I've never had a premonition in a dream myself, and I will. I'm going to go ask a family member in just a minute here and see if it does run in the family, possibly. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's the thing, right? If we don't talk to each other, we don't get answers, and if we don't ask questions, we certainly won't get any either. And that's what the show's about, asking questions and getting together and sharing. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, we're talking about dream states. We're talking about premonitions and dreams. Do you think it's a coincidence, or do you think there's something a little more interesting happening with that? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. We are talking about the alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing fantastic. And through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are calling random images as they traverse neurons in your brain.
Alright, so maybe
and they also feel them planting or
broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This show is live. We are streaming on Rockfin, D-Live, Periscope, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and this is a show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, propaganda, the 24-hour news cycle. Oops, I messed that up. Propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. And we're taking your phone calls. As you know, this is not less a radio show and more of a conversation. And like I always say, I prefer the knowledge of the crowd. I prefer the wisdom of us as we get together and discuss these things versus an expert any day, because there's a lot of experiences we have as individuals that we can share and learn and grow. And that's what this is all about. And if you want to be part of the show tonight, we're talking about dreams and premonitions. And do you think it's a thing? Do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think that maybe there's something more to this dream state, being able to tell the future? And if you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Let's go to, looks like this is MJ in Virginia. Welcome to the show, MJ. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Michael. How are you doing?
Doing very well. What do you think about this dream stuff? Do you think there's something to it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The guy that wrote the book, he said alternate dream futures. He's partially right about that. It depends on how savvy you are when you have... I'm gonna explain the dream to you.
Okay.
Years ago, I went hitchhiking across the United States. And I ended up in Houston, Texas, but it was late at night, and I got a ride into the city, and I had to get a cab, okay? So I got a cab, and I said, is there a bar nearby that's open? He said, yeah, I know of one. So he took me to the bar. In the dream, I get out of the car, I go to the trunk, and suddenly I'm hunched over, right? And not knowing why, but hunched over. And I walked up to the front of the bar. It's a very rustic bar, almost like a log cabin kind of rustic. Walked in, I looked to my right. There's a narrow wooden stairs that went up to the second floor. I looked ahead of me, and I saw an oval bar, and there was one guy over to my left all the way down on the other end of it, sitting there, the bartender, and then I walked in. Now, in the dream, in my head, I was playing out the scenario, what was going to happen when I went up and talked to him. And, of course, I had some money, but I was trying to save onto it, so I just walked out and he said, I told him I don't have any money. Can I just have a glass of water? Yeah. So he brought me a Coke. So I sat down, took the backpack off, still not knowing that it was a backpack, but took that off and just sitting there resting. And then the guy way down there came over and talked to me, and he came up and started talking to me. That was the end of the dream. Now, 3 years later, I went hitchhiking across the United States. The exact same thing happened in Houston. I got to Houston, and the whole scenario of getting a cab. But in reality, the real thing, I realized as soon as I put that backpack on my back from the cab, the dream, I started walking through it simultaneously, reliving the dream as I was physically, in here. And then I realized, that's why I was bent over like that. I was carrying the backpack, and it was a heavy, one of those long ones like you go camping for weeks. And then I walked into the bar, and of course I looked over to the stairs and realized the stairs. Now by this time, it felt like I was walking under a lot of pressure, like the air got really thick, or I was walking under on the ocean floor trying to walk through that amount of pressure. So I very slowly walked up to the bar, and in my head, in reality, I started playing out the same scenario in my head, knowing that I was going to go up and explain to him that I had no money, could I have a glass of water, and he gave me a Coke. And then that guy, as the dream did. But the whole thing was that I lived the dream. I was in the dream as it was happening in reality, in real time. I've had that several times. So when he was talking about being able to choose an alternate or rearrangement, if you're savvy enough and you recognize the dream as it's going on, you can rearrange some of the stuff that's going to happen. And right now, I'm in the process of doing that with something I had a dream about 6 months or a year ago, and I realized the other night I was watching. You know the movie series Hellraiser?
Yes.
Okay, the one that they call Judgment. I was watching this movie, just sitting there. Suddenly, this dream came to me, and I went, "Oh my God!" And I have a spirit board, and I talked with that periodically, and they were saying, "This tragedy is coming. This tragedy is coming." It's like, what tragedy? I was sitting there on watching TV, and that dream just went straight through my mind, and I realized what they were talking about. So I'm waiting for that one to happen. But what I'm doing is I'm rearranging things, so if it happens, little property and lives will be lost. So I'm going to take care of so those things don't get harmed, but it still has to happen apparently. So you can rearrange it. And when we go to, we call it deja vu, we actually leave our bodies, and everybody does this, because they'll walk around and say, God, this feels really familiar to me. I feel like I've done this before. They may not have remembered the dream or what they experienced, but they left their bodies, their soul went into their own future, looked into the future, they came back, so when you get up to it, it feels like you've done it before. You have, but you left your body to go do it into the future. That's what most deja vu is, unless it's a remembrance of the past and you're reliving something else.
Gotcha. Okay. So the premonition that you had, then some disaster is going to happen, something's imminent. Can you tell us what that is, or are you keeping that private for now?
Yeah, I got to keep it private because I'm rearranging things.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I'm waiting to see if it's even going to happen at this point. It's like, okay, but the initial part, the core part of it may happen, but I'm taking preparations for it to see what happens. And let's say if it all comes to fruition, then I'll say about it later. But yeah.
Okay, interesting. So what we're talking about here is not just a premonition dream, but in a lucid manner, meaning you can rearrange the details possibly, and as a result, manifest that future or not. That's wild stuff, man. That's really, really, really cool. Do you have any? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Just question. Do you have any family members that maybe have something similar, or is it just kind of unique to yourself?
My mom.
Okay.
Before she passed away, I'm in her house now. Before she passed away, she had ghosts, you name it, pictures rattling, lights flickering. It was like, it's ridiculous. When she passed away, it all left.
Okay.
But she had a lot of that. My grandmother had that too.
Gotcha. So it is in the family. Yeah, same here. Mom, apparently my mom said the same thing when I just asked her. I appreciate it, my man. Yeah. Anything else while we got you on the phone?
Well, I'm going to tell you one little real quick story. It just happened in real time. I was living out in Arizona. I was driving up this hill to get home. I had a Mazda B2000. And, of course, the high beams is on the turn signal, right? So I'm driving home, and I took my left foot and started punching the floor with my left foot, trying to turn off the high beams. And I'm sitting there going on, and I'm pushing it. It's like, you idiot, what are you doing? So I was like, it's on the turn signal. Well, I don't know what was going on, so I just reached over. By that time, it was too late. 3 months later, I had bought, not knowing that I was going to do this, 3 months later, I bought a 1959 Plymouth Savoy. And the high beams were the switch was on the floor on the left side.
Okay, interesting. So it's like you had swapped realities for a moment or something. That's weird, man. That's weird.
Yeah, and people do this all the time, though. They're not as aware.
Right, exactly, yeah. Like I said, none of this stuff ever happens to me, so that's why I thank all you guys for calling and sharing this stuff, because as I say, if we don't get together and talk about it, well, there's probably not a place we can. So always great stuff. MJ, thank you so much for the phone call. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, we're talking about dreams tonight. Great stuff from MJ, as always. Like I said, smartest audience, smartest family, smartest group of people in radio here, period. And you just listen to some of the amazing things that people are saying, and kind of expanding minds and expanding consciousness and thinking of ideas outside the box. And we're talking about dreams tonight in that same vein, I guess you would say. And maybe trying to think outside the box regarding the reality of maybe premonitions in those dreams. And like we said, is it possible that these things happen, and not just happen, that they can be repeated? Have you seen the future in a dream and it happened? Like Vicky said when she called in earlier, that she knows when somebody's going to pass away and has a dream about it. And like she said, she worked in I believe it was a nursing home, she said, and she was fairly accurate with this. And does anybody out there have anything like this, where you have a dream and then something happens that results in it pretty much exactly what the dream was? That's the question tonight. Do you think this is actually possible? Do you think it's coincidence? Do you think it's science? Or is it something else entirely? And that's the question. That's what's on my mind tonight, and that's what we're talking about. So I did tease that. Let's go back to this just to kind of reset the conversation here. And one more time, if you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. So here's the article that got my mind rolling on this. It's from mindbodygreen.com, and it's ever had a here we go. Let's just cut straight to the chase. It goes like this. There's a PhD that says this, that we have some sort of mechanism inside of us that is always sort of searching for what the future may bring. And it's putting together pieces from the past and trying to be in a predictive manner, trying to find out what the future holds. And so he says this: it's not a deterministic oracle, meaning the brain, that can predict what's going to happen, but rather it's a very sophisticated probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures. And so as part of this, as we continue talking about this, like I said, as always, I'd rather hear from you guys and hear direct on some of the things that you've dreamt about, or maybe you did have premonitions and dreams. What do you think it is? Even if you haven't had this type of dream state before, do you think that there is something larger to this phenomenon instead of just coincidence or something like this, like our overactive brain kind of trying to take pieces from the past and put together a coherent future, and which may manifest as a dream, which is what this guy's actually suggesting. And I did joke earlier in the first hour as we were doing this show about if anybody out there has the premonitions and the dreams, let me know about the winning lotto numbers. Looking for that, guys. Looking for that. And I'm just kidding, but I'm also kind of not kidding. So check this out. This is an article from thespec.com. And yep, you better believe it. You better believe it. I'm linking it in the chat. But is there somebody who had a premonition about the lottery? Yeah, well, check this out. Quote, this is from August 11th, 2021. This is brand new. My dream came true. Port Dover man wins $500,000 Lotto Max jackpot. And so, yep, there you go. That dream, so Michael Maxwell has been playing the lottery for as long as he can remember. So it stands to reason that earlier this year, the Port Dover resident had a dream he won the jackpot. That dream turned out to be a premonition. 6 weeks later, on June 18th, Maxwell popped into the Esso station in Port Dover and bought a Lotto Max ticket worth $500,000. Quote, I thought, holy geez, my dream came true, Maxwell said, while picking up his winnings at the OLG Prize Center in Toronto this week. There it is, right? I made the joke, hey, if anybody's got those winning lotto numbers and your premonition, let's cut some sort of deal, hey? Well, this guy, yep, he had a dream that he won the lottery, and bam, 6 weeks later, there you go. Is this real? Well, for him it was. So that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what we're thinking about tonight. And what's going on with the dreams? Shout out to our good friend Liam Martin again for making that amazing mashup, the audio mashup, and for tipping us. I appreciate that. Tipping us on Rockfin. Thank you very much, Liam. Obviously not necessary. I appreciate it very much. And it is nice that the option's there, right? YouTube has been demonetized. Facebook has been our reach cut down. And so it is nice to be able to have those options and no shenanigans from the technocrats, as it were. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So let's go to, I'm not sure who this is, but let's go to you. Welcome to the show. What's your first name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Derek from Mass. Nice talking.
Derek, what's going on, my man? How are you tonight?
What's happening, brother?
I'm
going to be kind of quick because I'm working.
Okay.
But I've never experienced premonition dreams before. Like I was a kind of a big lucid dreamer back in college, but never to the point where I'm predicting the future or not. But as far as why it happens and what's the mechanism behind it, like I do think it sounds very much like a AI, like an algorithm. And the article even says it's like a biological, which is essentially just saying like a fleshy computer, basically, right?
Right.
Which is interesting. So like, I don't know, are computers eventually going to get sophisticated enough where they like, I don't know, like, are we like a future computer, basically? Like, what are they going to look like when they're, like maybe whatever we're doing that's like analyzing all these probable outcomes is somehow like steeped into what consciousness is, and perhaps like if it does sound so like so algorithmic, and it's like also recently it's been discovered that like computers need to dream, or they need to sleep, or they're like I forget what the article says, but like essentially they run the same process that we do. Like they have to like kind of shut down and like process the information like similar to the way we dream, and they were calling it computer dreams, which is interesting. It's almost like they're trying to like they're like on their way. Like we're looking at like a primitive form of consciousness, which is interesting. But like as far as the actual premonition itself, I don't subscribe to the idea that time exists the way we think it does. I don't think time happens linearly. I think every event has already happened. It's all happening at once, essentially. So we, as humans, perceive it through our five senses, as happening linearly. Like once all the information comes in through our five apertures, it's analyzed by our brain and given to us as a reality that's moving like a river, you know? But in reality, I don't think it's happening like that. I think if we had like, and we know like the reality we see is only like 0.1% of what's there. And I think if we had a bigger picture, we might have premonitions happen much more often. I think sometimes some of the information like finds its way into our regular reality that's normally like kind of like not used by the brain, you know? So I know like one big like lucid dreaming tactic is to like train your brain. If you literally say before you fall asleep, I will remember my dreams, I will remember my dreams, I will remember my dreams, just as a way for your brain to know not to get rid of that information, like to give you the memories of your dreams, because it's recognizing that it's important to you. Like the brain's filtering out anything that hasn't been useful for the last like 100,000 years of human evolution, you know? But by like the constant practice, then you can like start to train your brain to like give you things that are outside of that 0.1% that is in normal waking reality. So perhaps sometimes things that like we perceive as being in from the future, but in reality it's just happening outside of our frame of reference, you know, kind of seep into our dreams, you know?
Right. So
like that also like it keeps free will in play too, or else like the whole script idea kind of makes it seem like we're acting out a script, you know?
Right, exactly. But so we've talked about this before as well, with the kind of the time existing in the same space, the past, the present, and the future, and that's science. They say that's real, and so basically, if you're having those dreams, you're tapping into that somehow through that, whatever this happens to be. Like all that stuff that you were just saying there. Like I said, you every time you call, man, you blow my mind. You take this like 7 different ways and look at the possibilities of not just algorithmic. We're talking biomechanical. We're talking time slices. We're talking, man, I don't know. So do you think it's real though? Given all that, do you think this premonition dream stuff is actually real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like it's been kind of. I think you can train yourself like the way like psychics operate, or like shamans in the past in like different cultures. That like some people, the same way with like sports, some people are born with the ability to jump really high, and they have a much easier time dunking than another person can. You know, the same way with psychic ability. Some people naturally pick up either more than that 1% of reality that we normally see, or at least like a different 1%. And in some cultures, it's like really ridiculed, and you're called crazy, and you might be given like some kind of like prescription to like calm that down. But in other cultures, especially in ancient history, it's you're the shaman of the group. They find you at a young age, and they make you train. You hone that. You practice that. So the same way where you're like, I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. That's on a small scale. Imagine like your entire life was curated in a way that it's honing this skill. You know, so. Same way you wear those like special jump shoes in order to increase your vertical leap. I think you can increase your nonlinear, like consumption of time. Or I don't know how to even talk about it.
I know, right?
I definitely think it's possible, for sure.
Right on. I appreciate it, my man. I know you got to run. Anything else while we got you on?
No, that's it. But great show, Mike. Awesome. Oh, and one thing. I posted the link in the chat earlier. If you like scroll up to the beginning, but it's from like bigthink.com and from like a few weeks ago, or like from the end of July, where they're saying that mammals, like mammal babies, will dream about the world that they're about to enter. That's like, so essentially like to prepare their senses, it says, for like the world that they're gonna enter. So it seems to be a mechanism baked into like the brain and baked into dreams, is like predicting the world. So they have no frame of reference at all for what the world will look like, and somehow they're able to dream about it. So I think like this is gonna bring another tangent, but I think that all kind of baked inside our junk DNA or whatever is kind of the memories of like everybody in our entire like biological line. Essentially every moment is stored somewhere in there. So I think maybe it's processing that, running probability based on that, and trying to form a picture of what the world you're going to enter, But also it's a cool idea with the simulation that maybe like your brain is rendering, like the imagination realm, the dream realm is like rendering the game first, and then you're kind of experiencing it second, But I don't know, weird stuff. Awesome.
I love it.
Awesome show, Mike. I got to run, but
all right, man.
Later, brother.
I love it. Good stuff. That's Derek from Massachusetts, a Night Stalker. Always great calls. That's what I'm saying, guys. Look. It's like we're just out doing each other every single call. It's crazy good and crazy amazing. And like I said, that's the whole reason of doing this and having the open line, because we take this in other ways, right? Who knows? Who knows where the dream states happen? And again, I like that. Maybe it's a rendered version, a rendering version of what's to happen, and we're maybe able to tap into that and then experience it as again how we experience time and these premonitions and these dreams. Crazy stuff. Fantastic as always. If you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. We're talking about dreams tonight, and we're discussing, is it possible that people actually have premonitions and dreams? And if so, maybe you have those dreams yourself, maybe somebody in your family does, maybe you've just heard of it and you have a theory on why this works or does not work. Well, we're looking to talk to you tonight. If you want to be part of the show, you know what to do. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and we're taking your phone calls on dreams and dream states and time. And yep, that's right. Telling the future. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. One more time. I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. We're talking about dreams tonight. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're talking about dreams. Do you think it's possible to have a premonition in your dream and then it comes true? Is this a thing? Can anybody out there do this or replicate it? Or does anybody in your family that maybe has this gift or this skill, or as we've described maybe earlier, or this curse, as it were? That's what's on my mind tonight, and we are streaming on Rockfin, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. If you want to be part of the show, we're taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And let's go. Let's do it. Let's keep on trucking. Like I said, so oddly enough, not just we have this bizarre incident where this individual by the name of Michael Maxwell had a premonition that he was going to win the lottery. And here you go, full screen for those folks watching the stream. Yeah, that's right. He had an actual premonition of winning the lottery, and 6 weeks later, Bingo, $500,000 jackpot. Is that a coincidence, or do you think that he was able to peek into those time slices and determine that he knew what was coming in his dreams? That's the interesting part. And what is going on? What's up, guys? I see you there on Rockfin. I'm reading all the chat everywhere, trying to keep up and do the thing. But yeah, right. If we're talking about this and you want a premonition, let's all have some premonitions about winning the lottery. Just to recircle back to this, because this is a really funny story. Michael Maxwell has been playing the lottery for as long as he can remember. So it stands to reason that earlier this year, the Port Dover resident had a dream he won the jackpot. That dream turned out to be a premonition. 6 weeks later, on June 18th, Maxwell popped into the Esso station in Port Dover and bought a Lotto Max ticket worth $500,000. Quote, I thought, holy geez, my dream came true, Maxwell said while picking up his winnings at the OLG Prize Center in Toronto this week. And so the question is this. As we consider these things and wonder what's really going on in the world we live in, do you think it's possible to have a premonition in a dream, or is this just our brain kind of going through possible scenarios, maybe in this case a hopeful scenario, and he just got lucky? Not just lucky, right? Not lottery lucky. Think about that. Lottery lucky, and then on top of that, had a premonition of getting lottery lucky, right? And so that's what's on my mind tonight. And the question is this. Do you think it's possible that you can actually tell the future in your dream? And if you can, why? How? How do you think that this would be possible? Are we tapping into some other thing outside of us? Or are we contacting, as maybe Vicky suggested earlier, that we're maybe reaching out to loved ones who have an access to maybe the time-space continuum type of thing that we maybe don't? And this is where this information comes from. It's hard to say, right? This is the type of thing that I don't know. I don't know where to go with it, in that I believe, I want to believe, I mean, I got the poster on the wall and everything, and but I don't know. I'm not sure where the information would come from. I mean, this would be something like maybe tapping into that Akashic record or something in that fact, right? Something kind of right around there. But yeah, nutty stuff. And do you guys think that it is possible? And that's what's on my mind tonight. One more time, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's go to Matt in California. What's up, my friend? How are you tonight?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Very good. Thank you very much. What do you think about the dreams and premonitions, my man?
Yeah, good stuff. So I'm trying to figure out the differences. Like with me, I have deja vu a lot, and I'm wondering if what is deja vu? Maybe it's I'm reliving a dream, but I don't remember that dream. So that's maybe how I explain deja vu. But with the primitive dreams, I've only had this happen to me once, and I can't explain it. I don't know how it works or how why it happens. Maybe to certain people, or people only if you can remember that dream. And I don't know how to like practice it or try to like achieve it again. It's just like a random. I don't know how it works. But anyways, so when I was a kid, I had a dream, and I was a kid. I was in my dream. I was on the playground and I'm swinging on the swing, and I'm with my friends. And it's at recess, so all the kids are playing. And I look over at my friends, and I look back, and all the kids are gone. But all of a sudden, an ambulance is driving into the playground, like on the playground. And it was a dream I had. And then a few weeks later, like I had deja vu. I was on the swing set with my friends, and I felt like a deja vu. Like maybe it was a dream I remembered. And all of a sudden, my friend, back then, we would try to. The coolest person is the person that can jump the furthest off the swing. So we were taking turns jumping off the swing. And my friend, he jumped off the swing, and he miscalculated or he tripped, and then he fell on his chest on the the wood board that separates the bark from the playground, and he broke 2 ribs. And an ambulance had to come through the gate to get to him. Like the ambulance had to come onto the playground to get him in real life.
Okay, so it was real. This was not just the dream. This also happened IRL.
Yeah, weeks later.
Wow, that's crazy. And so is it something that recurs, or was this a one-time thing?
No, it's that premonition dream. That's the only one I can remember or think of. That's the only thing that happened to me. Like I said, I don't know how or why it works. I wish I did.
Yeah, that's pretty wild and super, super specific too. It's not like, right, like you just kind of randomly exactly that and boom, it happens. Yeah, weird. Like we were saying. Go ahead.
It was weird. Like I didn't see like my friend get hurt in my dream. It's just I put the two connections together. Like my friend was there in the dream and then an ambulance. So like I didn't see the accident in my dream. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, strange. Maybe that part was not yet to be written. Like the trauma was there, but how it was going to happen maybe had yet to be played out. Yeah, man, that's wild. That is wild.
So I totally believe in it. And these stories, these premonitive dream stories, go all the way back. All through history. And I mentioned the Abraham Lincoln, and I think his wife had some premonitive dreams too. And so I started looking in this book I have, of like an encyclopedia of like paranormal stuff, looking up premonition dreams. And interesting like keys in this is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was the author of that. He dreamed like that came from a dream. The inventor of the sewing machine came from a dream. So there's all kinds of stories out there. The Dalai Lama. He has premonitive dreams. So a lot of people, like historic people throughout the world, a lot of these things like come to someone in a dream and then like they manifest it into reality.
Yeah, I think the Abraham Lincoln story goes something like he had a dream, and in his dream he looked in the mirror and he saw like a sort of a black and white version of himself. There was like a full color, and then there was another second vision of himself kind of looking worn and like he was fading somehow. And that, I think that's the premonition that he had in his dream, which of course was the prediction of his assassination, right? I mean, that's some scary stuff right there. But yeah, man, it's a
blessing and a curse.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's hard to not think of it in terms of a curse, right? So where do you think this is coming from? Like I said, you're not sure where it works. I'm with you. Do you think it is maybe some kind of way that we're tapping into time, as it were, the past, the present, and the future existing in the same space, and we're just able to maybe feel and sense those things, maybe traumatic experiences? Is it kind of a way maybe we're tapping into that even accidentally, or do you think it's something else entirely?
Yeah, it could be, like I said, accidentally. Like, I don't know how to trigger it. Like, I can remember my dreams, but as far as I can remember, I can't predict things in my dreams. But I do have something, I want to go off a Night Stalker's thing.
Sure.
He was talking about, like, a baby, like, maybe not being born yet. He'll have a dream of life before he's born.
Yep.
And the stories of like preparing the mammal for the next part of its life, I guess. And there's also stories of people that dream of their death. So like, what if we have a dream of our death, and that's like preparing us for the afterlife?
Ooh. Ooh, I like it, man. Yeah. It is creepy that you can dream of a future that you can't even conceive of yet because you're not born. You're dreaming in the womb, man. That's creepy. That whole thing is like mind-blowingly wild. Yeah. Hot stuff, man. Anything else while we got you on? Got a couple calls right behind you.
Nope, let them go. Thank you, Mike. Have a good night.
You're the best. Thanks. That's Matt in California. I appreciate the call. We're talking about dreams tonight. We're talking about dream states and premonitions and dreams. Do you think this stuff is real? Do you think there's something to this? And we're taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show. Fantastic stuff from Matt and everybody else that called in tonight. Good stuff. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's go to James on Discord. James, welcome to the show. How are you tonight, my man?
I'm okay. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Right on. What do you think about this dream stuff? Dream states, premonitions. Do you think there's something to this, or do you think we're much ado about nothing and we have overactive imaginations?
No, I think there's something to it. So I have a story, and I want to see if anyone has ever heard of this. Because I'm sure a lot of us have heard of premonitions where it's just one dream, and then you have that event that happens later that was in that dream. Well, I had this happen with 3 dreams that I had over the years, separate times. And then one day, years later, all 3 of these places I saw in these dreams were places I visited in the same day.
Okay, interesting. And all right, so where does this information come from? I guess is the question here. If this is possible, do you have a theory? So like we said, kind of with dream states, it's odd that some people believe that when we dream, we're actually traveling astrally, or maybe tapping into some other dimension through our mind, through like some sort of a Stargate in our mind, like a portal sort of situation. Do you think there's something like that's happening here? Maybe tapping into alternate realities and bringing them back as possible futures. I don't know. Like there's a whole lot of ways this can be taken in theory craft, but do you have a favorite of maybe taking a stab at what this might be?
Not really. I would just say I think I don't discount the biological part of it. I can't, because I think that's important to keep in mind, and probably has a part to do with it. But I do think that there is something either spiritual or to do with just just spiritual or metaphysical about it. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah, our brain is an amazing thing, isn't it? It's really difficult to tell based on all this, but we're going to keep doing what we do. We're going to keep thinking about it. We're going to keep speculating, and we're going to keep wondering what the world is we live in, because it certainly feels like it's the upside down, does it not? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Yeah. Anything else? What we got, John, my man?
I was just going to go over that experience, but that was just basically I've never heard of someone having 3 dreams and then visiting all the locations in those dreams in the same day. Yeah, that's wild. Like I was saying, it's definitely a premonition of sorts. I'm not sure that again, how do you replicate this, right? How do you do these things? I think this is when we end up kind of shrugging our shoulders and wondering what in the world's really going on. Yeah, fantastic stuff. This is James, by the way, of Salcedo Paranormal Podcast. So do check him out. He talks about all things paranormal, and real good dude. I appreciate you calling in, my man. Anything else while we got you here? Thank you. No, that was it. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. As simple as that. If you want to be on the Discord, we'll put you on just like that. And there you go. 702-957-1037. We're going to go to Austin in just a second. This is the Night Stalker shared this in the chat. Here's the article from bigthink.com. Mammals dream about the world they are entering even before birth. And isn't that strange? Isn't that strange that you have an actual entity in the womb, unborn as yet, dreaming about a future world that they have yet to see? I don't know. The world is a weird place, is it not? Let's go to Austin in Michigan. What's up, my man? How are you, Austin?
Better than most. How about yourself? How's everything doing today?
Going very well, thank you. Thank you for asking. What's on your mind tonight with this stuff? Do you think there is something to premonitions and dreams, or do you think we're just maybe fooling ourselves here?
To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what premonitions mean, but I feel like I could guess. But could you give me a taste of what that is?
Yeah, you got it. Just being able to tell the future. Just having a dream where a specific instance kind of shows itself in your dream, and then at some undetermined point in the future, that thing actually happens. That's what we're talking about.
I'm sure I've had those, but there is one dream that my mom had, and my parents, it's in my blood. My grandfather had dreams, and my mom had dreams that were kind of like this, and as even my grandparents' parents and my grandma's parents had this too, and they always had these dreams with tornadoes. And tornadoes, I feel like, represent chaos, because I've looked into dream interpretation before, and it's helped me understand my dreams a little bit more. And I found that a lot of it is just you got to study yourself, get that book of your life and really analyze yourself, because there's no greater book for wisdom and understanding on yourself than completely studying yourself, that everything happened for a reason and it's all a lesson or a blessing. And when you see the lesson, then it's all a blessing, because then you realize on a deeper level. So that matters with dream interpretation, because you don't want to always have other people interpreting your dreams, because you want to know for sure what your instincts are. Like when you see something in your dream, what's the first thing you think of when you hear tornado, chaos? And I asked my mom that, and I really interviewed my mom a lot about one of these dreams, and she dreamed about tornadoes, and this was in about 2015, and tornadoes were everywhere. So this is like pretty basic, but this one was the most telling. It had yellow Lamborghinis taking people away, and everything was closed besides the pharmacy, Walmart pharmacy to be specific. She was specific about that, and she said that she was driving around with her brother that died in 2005, July 4th, and drones were peppering the sky, and she said that she thought she was being followed by some or something, but I'm not 100% on that. Long lines were at the Walmart pharmacy, very long lines. She said it like wrapped around the building, like how big Walmarts are. And she said everything else was closed. The sky was, I don't know what the sky looked like. I can't remember what she said about that, but I feel like a lot of that in her dream has came true. I don't know what Lamborghini could mean. What the first thing my mom would think of, maybe the families that originate from the same place. Italian is Lamborghini, right? So maybe like Vatican related stuff, maybe that's why she was thinking of that. And yellow, it could be yellow buses, and she just had it Lamborghinis in there because of the first thing she thought of when she thought of Lamborghini. And then yellow, like it draws a lot of attention. Drones, surveillance, pharmacies, everything being closed, lockdowns, pharmacies only being open. I think everyone already knows where I'm getting at with that, but
right.
Yeah, that's what I'll drop out there. All pretty much, I feel like all of it's almost completely came true, except for drones peppering the sky. But if that was just surveillance, maybe they don't need drones peppering the sky with all the satellites that they've been launching.
Interesting. So let me ask you this then. So you do think premonitions and dreams are real, clearly. Where do you think that information comes from? What are we tapping into while we sleep that maybe gives us the ability to see the future? Do you think there's something to this, meaning like the Akashic record, or maybe tapping into another dimension or things like this? Or like I said, maybe it's just kind of hardwired, built into us to maybe in an organic way discover the future just by kind of parsing possibilities.
I am so glad you asked, because it's intention. I feel like that's really what it is. That's where it all starts. That's before the thought. Intention, the thought, the action, and I think there's 4 things. Intention, thought, action. What am I thinking of? Nah, I'm drawing a blank on that. Oh, speaking it into existence. So intention, thought, verbs first, and then action.
Right.
And I had to throw that in there, but yeah, I feel like the intention, if you really want to know, and you got this feeling before you go to bed, like deep down, you're like, I'm really curious about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. I got a feeling about it. And you just chase that feeling and you play with your imagination before you go to bed. So I used to control my dreams fully. I still do. I just don't have as much motivation to make my dreams now. I just kind of like free for all, whatever I imagine before I go to bed, I just let it take off. But I've had full control over my dreams since I was 10 years old, which was when a nightmare happened that that's a whole nother dream story. I don't think we have time for that, but I wrote that down.
Okay, cool. If you want to call back in the third hour and tell us that, you're welcome to. I appreciate you, my man. Austin in Michigan, thanks for calling in. Thanks for being part of the show tonight. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Hell yeah. Peace out.
Thanks a lot, brother. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, we got time for you. A few minutes left here. 702-957-1037, and we're just doing our thing, talking about dreams. And what does this mean? If you can see the future in your dreams, is it possible, and where does this power come from? As you see, like, we have so many smart people, brilliant people calling in with these amazing takes. Where does this come from? Is it something that's maybe built into us in a sort of organic way, as suggested by this PhD we started with this article tonight? Or is it maybe something else? We're tapping into something else out there, far away from us, maybe even into another dimension to find and derive these premonitions, these glimpses of the future that may or may not come true. And everybody want to take a stab at predicting some lotto tickets? Because let's make that happen. Let's get some brain power together and let's predict some lotto tickets. I appreciate MJ for putting some numbers in there. I saw that in the chat a ways back. So if you guys want to make a prediction of what the lotto numbers are, let's. I won't go buy lotto tickets, but it'll be a hell of a thing if you guess them. And we check next week and bingo. Anyway, so that's what's going on tonight. That's what this show is all about. We get together and we talk about all the strange stuff and what's going on, right? Like I always say, it seems like the world we live in is upside down. And that's why we're here trying to make sense of all of it and just do it in this format because we've met so many amazing people doing this show, and you can tell by the quality of callers, the quality of the stories, and just the thoughtfulness of people involved in this show. And so I'd like to thank all the folks who called in tonight and shared us their dream stories and their theories on what's actually going on here. As you know, I'm not the answers guy, so I don't have any answers here. I am the questions guy. And if you love this type of conversation, we're not trying to make you buy anything or vote for anybody. I don't care. That's not what this is about. This is about getting together and have a smart conversation and being cool to each other. That's really what the bottom line of Troubled Minds is all about. So if you love it, please spread the word. Let people know there's a group of folks out there that are on the ball and they're good to each other. And if that's what the legacy of this show ends up being forever, I'm definitely okay with that. Thanks again for hanging out with us. Like I always say, I'm honored by you guys spending your time here. You could be doing 1,000 other things, and yet here you are. So thank you very much for that. If you want to support the show, spread the word. That's the biggest thing. Listen to the podcast. Appreciate that quite a lot. And let's finish. If you're listening on any of the streams or the podcast feed, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. If you're listening to the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. And as we finish, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. All right, guys, here we go. We got a third hour of Troubled Minds coming up, but we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, so don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds coming up. We're still talking about this stuff. We're talking about dreams, dream states. Is it possible to tell the future from a dream? And if you think it is, where do you think that power comes from? Is it in our blood? Is it built into our DNA? Is it from some greater place in the universe? That's what we're considering. That's what we're thinking about. And that's what we're talking about. We're still taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. 2-minute break. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds, the third hour coming up, and your phone calls. See you in 2 minutes. Be right back. BRB. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we're still here. We're still doing our thing. It's Thursday night into the third hour, so if you guys called in earlier and you want to expand or elaborate on your dreams and the things, your theories and all the rest of this, now's the time. We're off the radio. We're not going to have any break interruption type things, and we're just going to keep on trucking. We're going to go for another hour, and we're taking your phone calls. And the question tonight is this, not just one question in particular, several questions, but do you think a premonition in a dream is real, meaning that you can tell the future with a dream? That's the question. And wow, that's new. That's new. We got bombed by a what in the world? By a chat bot or something that's smashing links up in the YouTube chat. Anyway, let's see if we can ban these guys. There we go. Blocked. Boom. All right. So the thing is this, right? That's the question that's on my mind tonight. Is this dream state premonition stuff real? And if so, where do you think it comes from? Is it built into kind of our DNA or maybe our mind as this particular PhD doctor guy really described in this first article here, which is again from mindbodygreen.com, and he said this to kind of reframe the conversation. If you guys I know people kind of dip in and out as we talk about this stuff, and I see you guys. What's up, Dark Devious? There, I see you, Austin. I see you, MJ. MJ got some lotto numbers. How about 7, 18, 26? 14, 27, 15. Thank you. There you go. What's up, guys? I see everybody out there. How you doing? What's going on? All right. Looks like a Russia hack bot, right? Yeah. Whatevs. Anyway. All right. So this is what we're thinking about tonight. So the brain. Now the theory is this from this PhD. This guy's name is again Siddhartha Ribeiro, and his theory is this. All right. The brain is not a deterministic oracle that can predict what's going on, but rather it's a very sophisticated probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures. And I think this is really strange, really odd that maybe it is built in a kind of a biological way, this premonition in the dreams and these things. What's up, guys? All right, so that's what's going on. We're taking your phone calls, still talking about this stuff, and we're going to just keep on rolling, keep on trucking, and considering these dream states and maybe where this information comes from. So let's go to Robert. What's up, Robert, in Virginia? Pennsylvania. What's happening, my friend? Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Oh, fine. I put in the chat a suggestion of an experiment. I'm suggesting to all your viewers that they may try this. And let's say that they go to sleep and they wake up in the middle of a dream. All right? And there's something that they want. When you wake up in the middle of a dream, that's an opportunity to change the script that's being downloaded. All right? So you insert into that dream, you think to yourself, I want this. All right, whatever that is. And insert that into the dream as you're returning to the dream. You close your eyes and return to the dream with that edit.
Okay.
And you'll see that it may not happen overnight, all right, but it will happen, all right? And I'll tell you something I've been holding back on, all right? I actually do this often, and it's worked for me. And one of the things that worked for me is that I was listening to a Troubled Minds show a few weeks ago, and you were talking about how Rockfin twice had rejected your request to go on their platform. So I went to sleep after the show, and I did wake up in the middle of a dream. Now, it had nothing to do with your show, okay? But I knew enough at that moment because it was on my mind when I went to sleep. So I said, I want to see Troubled Minds on Rockfin. So Troubled Minds will go to Rockfin. All right? That's changing the script. And there you are.
There you are. And but then not only that, you put some action into motion by sending an email.
But you see,
and
what that did by entering into the script was it allowed for that show to happen where you suggested people send an email.
Right.
All right. You never suggested that before. All right. And that happened, and there you are.
Exactly. So you're saying that so everybody can do this. It's a way of maybe manifesting and changing that script if you think it's possible, and it's a technique. I appreciate you helping out with that, man. And I don't know. I'm not so sure. Like I said, but go ahead. In the dream state, so you're saying that you can manifest these things by rewriting that script of sorts.
If you wake up in the middle of a dream.
Okay, gotcha.
When you close your eyes, a lot of times you're going to return to the dream that you were having, right? If you take that moment, all right, to enter something you want into the script, this will happen, all right? Note the words, this will happen, all right? It will happen. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're going to go and you're going to do it and you're going to say, I want to win millions of dollars in the lottery, I will win millions of dollars in the lottery, all right? All right, you may be asking the universe for too much, but it's the simple things. It's the simple things that's doable, all right, that work. And I'm a simple man. I make more than enough money. I have a comfortable home, comfortable family. All right, I certainly wouldn't want to win a big lottery. It would destroy my life, and as it has destroyed a lot of lives who have done that. So you want to try. I'm just saying, for people that are listening, try this experiment. It can't hurt you. All right? Just try it. Wake up in the middle of a dream. If there's something, something doable that you want to happen, it hasn't happened, say, this thing will happen. And then go back to sleep into the dream. That gets inserted into the dream. That gets inserted into the script. You're editing the script. That's your life. Just try that.
I love it, man. I love it.
That's all I wanted to call back for.
Okay. I appreciate it.
I just wanted to call back for. Okay?
Perfect.
Night.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's Robert in Pennsylvania, and good stuff. There you go. I think there's something to this, right? You talk about manifesting futures and things like this, right? Manifesting good things for yourself or good things for people around you, or right, kind of changing that paradigm of what the future may bring. So it is interesting and curious that he said that he did this, and it was sort of a situation that it happened. Like as many of you know, we did get rejected from Rockfin a while back, and then for whatever reason we get times change, and I don't know, maybe the quality of the show is a little better, or maybe just the timing. But bam, and here it is. Like you said, he sort of interrupted a dream state and inserted it into the script as maybe a possibility for the future, and here we are. Here we are talking about it. And of course, we're talking about dream states. And again, back to this with this individual, the guy that's the PhD that says that there's possibly a biological explanation for this, and some sort of mechanism where we get together and with our brain anyway, in a sort of a brain state. And again, our brain is not a deterministic oracle that can predict what's going to happen. However, it's a very sophisticated, probabilistic neurobiological machine that's based on what happened in the past and simulates possible futures, is what he says right there. And that's the theory here. That's what we're running with. And do you think this is all of this is possible, that you can actually have a premonition, be able to tell the future in your dream? And that's what we're talking about tonight. And as always, the drill. We're in the third hour now, so we're taking your phone calls, and we're taking all comers. If you want to be tell us a dream, maybe you've had an experience where it was actually a premonition in a dream, or maybe somebody that had something happen to this effect, or even if you've never had it happen and you have a theory on what this may or may not be. Is it a biological function of our sort of active brain while we're in that sleep state? As this individual by the name of, what's the guy's name? It is Siddhartha Ribeiro, and he's suggests that it is. It's a biological function of us trying to figure out the future, and that's where the premonitions and these dreams are actually coming from. What's up, guys? I see you, Tam Bam. Sherry's out there. there. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us on Rockfin and everywhere else. We got Austin, MJ, Dark Devious, Derek's there. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Thank you. Thanks so much for the tips tonight, guys. To Liam and to Robert, and thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of this. But what are your theories on this? Have you had dreams that will actually tell the future? And if you have, you know what to do. Give us a call at 702-957-1037 or click the Discord link at troubledminds.org and we'll put you on the show and we'll talk about all this stuff, the dream states and maybe where this is coming from. And there's some interesting theories on this, of course, right? It just depends on who you ask. But is it, again, an organic biological thing that happens with just regular brains and dreaming, where we try and put together a future based on the pieces of our past? And then maybe we strike pay dirt and get lucky once in a while with these sort of dreams, right? Or is it something else entirely? Are we tapping into maybe the time space, tapping into the Akashic record, as it were? And what's actually happening with this? I think that's the question, and that's what's on my mind tonight. So there we go. We got more that we'll talk about, and what's going on? Let's see. Tam says, my hairdresser has been trying to fall pregnant for about 5 years, and about 2 months ago, I had a dream she was pregnant. So I told her, and she laughed. 2 weeks ago, she told me she was pregnant. There you go. I called it because I dreamt it. And there it is. And that's what I'm saying, right? Does this stuff happen? I think this stuff happens, and it just depends on who you ask. Let's go to, whenever you're ready, Rohan. We got Rohan in the Discord. The mighty Rohan. I know you're on a delay, but welcome to the show, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Enjoying this one. Love a bit of dream talk, you know.
Why not? And why not? What do you think about the dream states? Is there something to this that's just biological in that sense, or further, we're able to maybe tap into something else, something spiritual or metaphysical or something else? What do you think is going on here?
Well, I think when you think, I think of that. I don't know where it comes from. Where we talk about we're multi-dimensional beings, aren't we? Right, and I think that's where it comes into play here, because with this dream stuff, it comes up in the Robert Monroe material in his first book when he talks about his out-of-body experiences. What he talks about is there being two other places, that there's like a dream world that's made of thought, okay, but then there's like a completely other world that's a bit like this one. But the sciences are a bit different and the social order's slightly different. And it's almost like a parallel universe. Do you know what I mean? And so Robert Monroe was saying for all the sort of experiments and study, they can't really determine what it is or where it is. But there's definitely this other place. And he says that when you forget your dreams, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's because you've been to this thought world called locale 2. They call it, this is locale 1, thought world. Like we might think of the dream world as locale 2, and locale 3 is this like parallel world. And he says, you get this veil that comes down as you wake up, which takes away your memories if you visited locale 2. Do you know what I mean? So you got to work hard to bring it all back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's so that's why I don't remember my dreams, is because I can't bring them back. I'm having an issue with transferring the information through that curtain or through that veil, as it were. Right? That makes sense.
And because perhaps when you're dreaming, you're just like really busy, even when you're asleep.
Yeah, well, there's definitely something going on. I wish I could remember more of my dreams. And the crazy part about it is when I usually remember them, they're usually horrific. It's like whoa, that would make for a really terrible B movie horror flick. But that's the type of like crazy dreams I have, right? Like distorted versions of people in my life, right? That just so such strange things. Those are the ones I remember. So it'd be nice to remember a nice dream once in a while.
Well, yeah. I think Monroe again. He talked about some of the weirdness they saw there, because he said I suppose because it's thought. He says you don't necessarily know what gender you are wherever you are. He says there's this like area when you first pop through, there's like a sea and you have to like cross it. And he says he's got these like little fish in there that will nibble at you. Do you know what I mean? And it's talk about these entities that are almost like little kids that will jump on your back and just sit there. And you don't know what they are, and you can't pull them off. And he was saying like they're like rubbery, like Stretch Armstrong, and he'll try and tear them off his back, and he'll keep jumping back off.
What in the world?
Yeah, it was crazy stuff. You want to read them books, man? It's crazy. And it says like it will start panicking, and then some person who we don't know who it is will come along and sort of get rid of him, and then say, "Oh no, you're all right." It's crazy, but I don't know. But then, Mike, it gets me thinking to that scene in the Matrix film, in the first Matrix film, where they're explaining to Neo this is how it works. So you get to load programs in, and they take him into the white room that they call the construct, where you can load everything in. And I wonder if it's that kind of a place, and that's why sometimes you're seeing things that's going to happen in the future, because you know what I mean. It's like sort of timeless, but also maybe you're creating those scenarios in the dream world to happen here. So it's not a case necessarily of you've seen the future in a dream, but perhaps you've created that reality that you're going to get from your dreams to project it out into this world.
I love it, man. I love it. So who did you say was the guy who wrote the Locale 1, 2, and 3? What books are those?
It's Robert Monroe. Robert Monroe, the fame of the Robert Monroe Institute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cliche, it's rhetoric, cliche stuff, but yeah, it's the original person that wrote about it that was like, what the hell's this? Because it just happened to him random. He just started vibrating one night going to sleep, and it kept happening. And he went to his doctor thinking it was a condition after a while. He just thought he had a medical problem. So it's just one of them.
Yeah, that's wild, man. And so there are other realms, basically. But what about being able to see the future? Is that information out there as part of like I described earlier, maybe the time slices, how time all exists in the same space, the past, present, and the future? Mm-hmm. Is it like us tapping into that, or is it something else? Is it maybe a coincidence, right? Because I can see how you might have a dream, about particular places you've been often, right? Like school, you're always at school, you're always at school, you're always at school sort of thing. And then so you have a dream about school and a particular thing, right? It kind of like those small deja vu moments, but your brain kind of putting together a possible future in that same setting that you're always in. I could see how it could be an organic thing like this PhD is describing. But I don't know, man. Like, you got a theory on where it actually comes from and if it's real? Premonitions and dreams, anyway.
Yeah, well, because I've sort of had it like waking premonitions, and then they've happened, but they've been little trivial things, like a conversation that I just envision random, and then I'll see that person, and then I'll have the same conversation, and it's not until afterwards you sort of can see it. But like you say, if there's a space where things have already happened, everything's happening at once, then maybe I think of it like it's when you're approaching the moment, it sort of starts to solidify. A bit like, let me say it like this, with Schrodinger's cat and the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, there's a box, you put some cyanide gas in there that should kill a cat, but until you open it, you don't know if it died or not. Right. And I think it's a bit like that. I think it's like you get these premonitions just as you're about to reach a point where that happens, because that thought and that thing that was going to happen in your life is about to solidify. But it don't happen till the last moment because of your free will. You see, you can always change what's going to happen, which is why I think that where you've got this idea of fate or whether you've got free will and you can change stuff, I think they're both true at the same time. I think these are little glimpses into where you can kind of change timelines, so to speak, if that makes sense. And interestingly enough, talking about the dream stuff, I quickly Googled some pictures to put in the chat, and I came across this BBC have done a series called Why Dreams Could Be the Key to Time Travel. So I don't know if you came across that.
No, I didn't check. It's again hard for me to keep up on all the chats, but I will check it out. It's on the Discord, right?
I didn't put it in the chat. No, I was just saying while I was looking at pictures to post, I just happened to come across this article about the series about it. So yeah, I just thought, well, that's interesting, because if the BBC are writing stuff like that and doing documentaries about why dreams might be key to time travel, it's interesting, isn't it? And I remember incidentally seeing a documentary about people remembering stuff that's happened when they've had operations and they've been knocked out. So it's about non-local memory, like where is it? Do you know what I'm saying? And I remember when they were testing people, they were the brains were responding to stimuli before they were doing it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it is built in somehow. Like there's some sort of connection with even just a small slice of the future to come. But yeah, and I don't think that's even that uncommon. Like you can write that down as deja vu and some of these other experiences that people describe every day, all the time. This happens to people the world over. Consciousness too is another weird one with that. I heard where was this? I'm not even sure what the context of this is, but there was somebody undergoing surgery, and the anesthesiologist comes in, and they're about to do their thing and knock them out to do the surgery, and the question asked to the anesthesiologist is, well, when you put me out, where do I go? And the anesthesiologist was like, I have no idea. But right, it kind of gets you in that where do you go? Right? It's like they put you in the box with Schrodinger's cat. It's where you go. Right?
That's why I don't like the idea of uploading your consciousness, because what if it is a proper full copy of you and then you're stuck in the toaster running it?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, man, I don't know, crazy stuff with all this, just because it's so big, right? I think the implications here are enormous if we can find some way to replicate this phenomenon known as the predictive dream. So yeah, I don't know, man. We got a call behind you. So anything else while we got you on, my friend?
No, just to finish, and that's why we need to research these things, and probably that's why we need to take more drugs so we can do more research, right? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Don't do drugs, folks. Kids. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Leave that to the experts.
There you go. Leave it to the experts. I appreciate it, Rohan. You were the best, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. That's the mighty Rohan. You can find him on DLive or Discord or yeah. These are the caliber of folks you can come hang out with if you join the Discord, guys. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here and come talk about this stuff. Let's see. Robert says, "I wonder what blind people dream." That's a good one. I don't know. That's a good interesting. Very much like that article that Derek shared about the mammals. Right here you go. The mammals dream about the world they are entering even before birth. Strange, is it not? Very weird. Very, very weird. But okay, let's go to, I appreciate the calls. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you, everybody who's called in tonight. We're going to keep talking about dreams. Let's go to, looks like this is Ronald in Tennessee. Ronald, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike, what's going on, man? Ronald, Tennessee.
What's happening? What's happened? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was wondering, y'all excuse my accent, hey, can't help it.
You're good, man. You're good.
I was going to talk about, concerning dreams, let me give you a little bit of backstory. I was in an auto accident in May of 2001, and it killed a 19-year-old passenger in another truck, and I was giving my twin brother a ride home, and it killed him. And it was not DUI, but it was a head-on collision. And but about a month after the wreck, I'm at home recuperating, and I lay down and go to sleep one night, and next thing I know, it's sitting in the trailer in the recliner, which I was in a mobile home at the time, and worked at a sawmill, but I'm sitting in the trailer, and I go to sleep, and I dream I'm sitting in the recliner watching TV or whatever, and it was like still kind of cool out, so we had plastic over the inside of windows because trailer walls are real thin. But anyways, I hear through the window, I hear someone clear their throat, and I say, that sounds just like Donald, my twin brother. And so I get up, I'm going to go, we use the back door to come in because it's closest to the driveway. And but anyways, I get up to go open the door, and the door opens up, and then in walks my twin brother, and I'm like, You know, it's a month after the wreck. I'm falling over furniture trying to get to him, and I finally get him. And I get to him. I grab him by the shoulders, and I look dead in his eyes, and to make sure it was him, and it was him. And of course, I fall apart. I'm sorry, all that. And he says, Ron, listen to me. He said, whatever happens, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, I won't worry about it, well, whatever. And he says, no, whatever happens, you promise me you won't worry about it. And I said, okay, I won't worry about it, whatever happens, you know. And but the thing about it, when I saw him, he was dressed in blue jean shorts, a little past his knees, white sneakers, and a shirt. It's something he would never wear. It was a gray T-shirt, and it had horizontal stripes, thin stripes going down it. And it was kind of ugly. But I noticed that shirt. And so make a long story, or a short story longer. Anyways, a year later, after that dream, my landlord, his father-in-law passed away. His name was Fountain, like in a park, a fountain. And he passed away of cancer. And my landlord knew I worked at the sawmill, and he said, hey, Ronnie, I know that wood eats your shirts up. He said, you need any shirts? He said, I got all Fountain shirts. You can have them, or we're going to throw them away. I said, let me go through them. I went through them, and it was all shirts like from the 60s and stuff with amoebas and stuff on them. But flowers, and I was like, no, had no pile, maybe pile, yes pile. Put all of them in the no pile. So I get to the middle of that bag, and I pull out this T-shirt that's my size and is gray and has the black stripes going horizontally on it, just like my brother was wearing. Then about 4 months after that, I'm at work, and 2 sheriff's cars pull up and arrest me for the accident. But I just happened to be wearing that shirt that I saw my brother wearing in that dream. You know, so
that's
it was
weird,
like
man.
Really trippy.
That's weird.
You know,
that's weird. So not only is it kind of making contact with passed on loved ones, it's also a premonition of not maybe how the incident went down, but a premonition of a shirt. I mean, it's something as simple as the clothes, and you didn't even have the clothes yet, right? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, and of course and of course I always kid around and chat and everything, and so I come up with, you know, my brother went to heaven and all I got was a crappy T-shirt, you know. So, but anyway, but another one that's related to him, I dreamt that we was I went to sleep, and I dreamt I was standing on the side of a dirt road, you know, and out in the trees everywhere and stuff, you know, out in the woods. And I see my Jeep coming down the road, and I know I totaled it in that wreck, you know, it was totaled. And, I mean, it was a head-on collision, both vehicles doing 60 miles an hour, which means it's like hitting a brick wall at 120 is what it's like.
Right.
But anyways, but I survived it by the grace of God. But anyways, the Jeep pulls up, and it's my twin brother driving it. I said, what are you doing to my Jeep? And he said, get in. I said, all right. You know, and at this time, a side note, I was a little bit worried that it was such a violent accident that, you know, there's no way I could have avoided it. But I was worried that he went through a lot of pain, of course. And but anyways, to get on the story, he tells me to get in the Jeep. I get in the Jeep. He takes off down the road. I said, what are we doing? I said, you know, what are you doing? He says, I'm going to show you what the wreck was like. And I'm like, no. And he speeds up to about 60 miles an hour. And we're driving down this dirt road, and instead of another vehicle, it's like the dirt road just ends, and it's like a dirt wall or cliff almost, you know. And, you know, Alabama red dirt, you know. Anyways, but anyways, when we hit it, you know, I'm hitting the emergency, the imaginary brake and all that too, you know, and holding on to the oh shit bar, you know.
Right.
And we went when we hit it. I thought we was just be a bad jar, and we ended up soaring. We soared way up in the air, probably 1,000 feet in the air over a deep blue, calm sea. And then I'm going, wow, it's peaceful up here. And then we started going back down, and I look, and there's a little square of sand just big enough for that Jeep to fit into, and trees going all the way through the water, big trees. And that Jeep lands, and I'm bracing for impact, and it just goes boop, and just lands. And my brother, I'm about done had a heart attack. My brother says, "That's fun. Let's do it again." And I'm like, "No." And no kidding, we went around and we did it again.
Nice, nice.
But I think that was his way of showing me that he was just here 1 minute, gone the next.
Gotcha. It was snap your fingers.
And I haven't seen him in dreams. Yeah, that was 20 years ago. I haven't seen dreams like that of him, but I did tell him to take his rest. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay. Just you take your rest.
Gotcha. Nice. Was your brother like a prankster?
I just wanted to. Huh?
Was your brother like a prankster? Was it part of his character to kind of mess around like that?
He liked hot rods and driving fast. If you mean that,
Yeah, I mean, kind of joking with you when he was joking with you.
He was big on the old AMX javelin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to call and put in my little 2 cents worth, and say howdy to everybody in the chat. And I can't wait to read it all. Lord, it's going to be like a novel. Anyway, but it was good talking to you, Mike. I'll get off here and let you get back to the show.
Right on. You as well, my friend. Thank you.
Other callers
Thank you, Ronald from Tennessee. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling. Have a great night. Thanks, man. There you go. Simple as that. You guys want to be part of the show? We're taking your phone calls. We're talking about dreams. We're talking about premonitions. And we're talking about all kinds of amazing things here. What's going on with this? Is there something more to it? As always, right? We're kind of asking some of the bigger questions on this show of how did we get here? And like this, mammals dream about the world they are entering even before birth, right? Is that a premonition of a world they can't even understand, that they've never even entered into yet? Pretty wild stuff here when you start to consider that, the premonitions and dreams, sort of maybe sensing the future or having it come to you in a vision. I don't know. Where do you think this stuff comes from? Do you believe it? Or here's a good one from Jennifer. What's up, Jennifer? Thanks for listening. Jen says, I think that dreams are the mind undistracted by daily events, and it's playing over events unnoticed by the woke dreamer. Other than that, I believe it's an entity sharing ideas for unknown motive to influence them. Great comment from Jen, as always. Appreciate that. And if you guys, this is the thing, right? Do you believe that being able to see the future in dreams is a thing? And if so, why? And if not, if it's more of an organic thing like this PhD is described and discussed as we talked about tonight, that's what we're doing. We're kind of just getting our minds together and thinking about these things, some of these larger implications of what's really going on here. But I don't know. I have no idea. You guys tell me. As you know, I am not the answers guy. I'm the questions guy. And here asking some questions. So we got some articles we can go through. Like I said, it's a little bit boring. Might put you to sleep. Or we can listen to you. And to do that, you just give us a call at 702-957-1037, or you jump in the Discord at troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link and hop on in here, and we'll talk about this stuff and think about this stuff and continue doing our thing. All right. Let me pull up an article and let me bore you to death. Let's find something. Actually, let's look at that dream about the article about the mammals. Let's read that. Now, this is the weirdness. This is the weirdness of what Troubled Minds is. And thanks again to Derek for dropping this in the chat there and referencing this. Here's the thing from BigThink.com. Mammals dream about the world they are entering even before birth. So here we go. Imagine opening your eyes for the first time as a brand new baby. The world is so mysterious, full of obstacles and strange shapes, and yet it does not take babies all that long to get their bearings, to latch onto their parents, and to start interacting. How do they do this so quickly? A new study published in Science proposes that babies of mammals dream about the world they are about to enter before being born, developing important skills. The team, led by Professor Michael Crair, C-R-A-I-R, who specializes in neuroscience, ophthalmology, and visual science, wanted to understand why, when mammals are born, they already are somewhat prepared to interact with the world around them. Quote, "At eye-opening, mammals are capable of pretty sophisticated behavior," said Craig. "But how do the circuits form that allow us to perceive motion and navigate the world? It turns out we are born capable of many of these behaviors, at least in rudimentary form." And this is a little bit interesting and weird, and right, like how on earth do you dream about a world you can't even conceive of yet? And yeah, this is definitely good stuff. But what do you guys think? Premonitions, dreams. As you know, the third hour is kind of to stretch our legs and talk about whatever, pretty much. If you want to take this anywhere into different kind of dreams or stories or anything else, that's what we're here to do. 702-957-1037. You tell me. And otherwise, we're just hanging out and doing our thing. So there you go. Yeah, all right. I'll just keep on rolling. I'll keep on rolling. I don't see anybody out there, so I'll just keep on rolling. What else do we have? I had a list of, let's see. So here we go. Precognitive dreams, right? Precog dreams. We already know what these are. There we go. Here's another one I thought was pretty fascinating that kind of fits, but it's probably too late to get into this. Like I said, I'm going to put you guys to sleep. But this is by Discover Magazine. Headline is, "Your brain is not a computer. It is a transducer." There you go. You want a rabbit hole wild ride? There you go. Here's one. This is from freeastrology123.com. And what should you know about premonition dreams? And let's read just a little bit about this. So, as we know, dreams happen during the rapid eye movement, part of sleep cycle. Although a person has at least 3 to 5 dreams every night, most people forget 95% of their dreams. Some dreams can seem completely random. Others relate to things that happened during the day. Then there are dreams that we cannot shake. These visions carry powerful messages from the spirit realm. If you've ever experienced recurring dreams or vivid dreams that feel very real, you might be receiving messages from the universe. Messages that could give you a glimpse of what will happen in the future. These premonition dreams give you a vision of something that hasn't happened yet. Everyone experiences premonition dreams, this article says. Perhaps you can recall a moment of deja vu when the current moment feels oddly familiar. Maybe you have dreamt about something that happens the very next day. So there we go. So they say that it may seem unbelievable if you have never experienced a premonition in these dreams before, but intuitive dream visions happen more often than you might expect. When the Titanic sank in 1912, many people already had frightening dreams about the terrible tragedy. At least 19 people recorded disturbing visions of a sinking ship, including a man named Morgan Robertson, who had a vision of a boat with the name Titan on its side sinking into the ocean, a boat that people thought unsinkable. He later wrote a short story called The Sinking of the Titan, published 14 years before the sinking of the Titanic. Holy smackerel. Later, in 1962, a psychic reader named Gian Dixon warned of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy before it happened. Leading up to the 9/11 attacks, many people had premonitions of burning buildings, predicting that horrible day. And yeah. Appreciate that, Jen. I copy that. I'm coming down with a little something too, a little head cold or something. So yeah, having the weekend off is perfect timing for me. But okay, so I don't know what's going on with this other than I just don't know. I don't have the answers here. But the dream world is a very, very complicated place, is it not? And when you start talking about premonitions in these dreams, I don't know. Can you tell the future? Let's see. Robert says, how did the professor determine the preborn dream? Did he put brain monitoring cable into the womb? And that's a good question. There's a study. Do you want to link to that study? I think he's got it here. Let's see. He's got, here's let's see, retinal waves in a newborn mouse. Prepare it for vision. And let's see, where is the study itself? If you're into this, let's see, here we go. In Science, yeah, this is the one. All right. I'm linking it. This is the actual Science article, and here you go. Dropping it in the chat, and you guys can check that out if you prefer. And now you know. So here we go. Dropping that in the chat. Okay. So there it is. Retinal waves prime visual motion detection by simulating future optic flow. Sounds complicated. And like I said, if I start reading that, everybody's going to go to sleep. So anyway, point being, looking to hear from you guys. Hanging out, doing our thing. And it's Thursday night, and we're talking about strangeness. Strange dreams and precognition and all the rest of this stuff. Is it real? Can you do it? And if not, then why not? Why do you think that some people maybe have this ability? Again, is it... that's really what's on my mind tonight. And I don't know. Well, let's go to Jay in New York, and we'll wind this down. If nobody's interested in calling, then that's cool. Like I said, sometimes you can just have an okay show, and it's okay to have an okay show. But let's go to Jay. Jay in New York, how you doing, my friend? Welcome to Troubled Minds.
Great, Mike. Am I in there?
You're there. Welcome.
All right. I just phone was doing a crazy funny thing.
That's okay.
Yeah. Dreams always get me. These are always great shows. I don't really dream because I don't really sleep, because I used to have dreams when I was a little kid that used to creep me out, night terrors and stuff like that. And just, I don't know, ever since my brother was born 30, 40 years ago, I just don't sleep. But I have like dreams during the day, like I can see what's going to happen the next couple of minutes. Like that guy's going to get in an accident, that little kid's going to fall down the stairs, and it makes me wonder that we see these things and then like we try to analyze them in our dreams, when get to thinking a little bit better about how we can deal with the next day. Like Jennifer, I think she said in the chat about how you're taking the confusion of the day and you're kind of like trying to make some sense out of it through some bigger thing. But dreams are always funny. Like, they really are, what you want to do when you're a kid. And, I think dreams are big, that how we think about them and, what you want. I think maybe it's something that you want. Maybe it's not necessarily right here, right now, but later on down the road. And then the guy from Tennessee that called was almost like, wow, that guy was, did he die in his car accident and make it back out because his brother helped him out? Just dreams are weird. People, lots of people talk about their dreams and, great stories to be had. But,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So do you think though it is possible to have a premonition, a precognitive dream, where you're able to see the future? Do you think that's a possibility here, or is it again just a trick of our brain noticing maybe a coincidence as our subconscious tries to kind of put together a possible future from the events of our past?
Make sense of it later on after the fact, maybe, I don't know. I think you can probably dream about the future, that, God or the Great Spirit or the whatever it is, the Acosta record will give you a little insight here and there, maybe through a dream of what to come, what to prepare for. It's just, I think we're missing something, I think that's the whole thing about all of the things that we talk about. I think there's something that's just like right there in our face that's so simple that, we're just not catching on to, I really think that, talking to all these people that I've been introduced, through your show and the Discord and everything else like that, it's like unbelievably brilliant people, and it's just like we are right there on whatever it is with the dreams, the UFOs. Maybe it's all the same, maybe that's the key that we need to learn. But I don't know. It's crazy, it really is. It's crazy to think about that, I've had premonition dreams before, and thank God none of them came true because they all involved bad things, My dreams are bad. That's one of the reasons why I don't sleep. I don't like having dreams because they're usually scary.
Exactly. Similar. I don't not sleep. I sleep, but I only remember the dreams when they're just horrible. What's up, Caesar? I see you there on Rockfin. Thanks for hanging out with us. So we're talking about dreams tonight, precognitive dreams, and is there maybe a way to trigger this? Is it kind of a latent skill? Is it born into people, or do you believe it's not possible at all? I think again, we when we discuss these things, it's okay to not believe either. That's fine as part of the whole conversation. If it is just our brain kind of maybe playing tricks on us, and that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. But so you said you don't really have any of this because you don't really sleep as much. I don't know with dream states like I said, the Akashic record, or maybe kind of a dipping into a different realm. Do you think something like that is going on here, or are we stretching?
Well, I think we have the ability to access it. I really do. It's just a matter of how. I think we're probably way more powerful than we think. Almost superhero status. It's inside of us, but we just got to figure out how to get it out. And I think maybe the dream part of it is part of looking into it is how we get those things out, whether or not you can see the future, look into the past and remember things for whatever reason that might be. I think it's highly possible that we can predict the future with our dreams, and I think it's highly possible that we can learn things in our dreams that we probably wouldn't be able to learn anywhere else. But how do you get to that state? Richard was saying in the chat a little bit there that, he can kind of focus on it. I imagine that takes practice. I'm definitely not in control of any of the dreams that I have.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. Same here, man. Otherwise, they wouldn't be horrific when I remember them. just weird, like we always talk about living in the inverted or the upside down. It's like that in my dreams, but worse. It's like upside down and sideways and going off the rails. Like that's what kind of dreams I have. It's like distorted cartoon character, like funhouse mirror versions of like people I know. It's so sick. It's just like, what is this? But yeah.
I'll stay and shoot the breeze for a couple hours just so I only have a couple hours of sleep, so I don't have a chance to have crazy dreams.
There you go. Yeah.
It's one of those things. And I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I'd have night terrors. I'd wake up, I couldn't scream, I'd be covered in sweat and everything else like that. Mom and dad would come running on. What's going on? I don't know. You're in here yelling and screaming.
Screaming, yeah. Right on. Anything about this? We can wind this down. I think we've beat this dead horse a little bit. But again, thank you guys for being part of the show tonight. Thanks for listening and all that stuff. All the amazing calls, all the amazing chat. Thank you again to Liam and to Robert for the tips on Rockfin. Appreciate that a lot. Like I said, it does help pay the bills of the show and get us ahead a little bit, so we can maybe look to the future and do this a lot more. So I appreciate that from all of you guys. And most important, thanks for spending your time here. Like I said, like I always say, I understand you could be doing. There's so many things you could just be binging Netflix or things like this, and you don't. You come here and you engage your mind, and try and be good people together. And like I always say, I'm honored by that, and thank you for spending time with us. It does mean a lot. So we usually do an outro here with Jay. So let's cut it just a little bit short, and let's just do the J-tro. What do you think, Jay? Let's do it, my man.
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's roll it. I got you some music. Go right ahead, sir.
All right, cool. We all have dreams, but in order to make those dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. Jesse Owens. I think sometimes the dreams in our head when we're sleeping are the dreams that we want to be having going on when we're awake. And I don't know. That's what I feel about it, Mike. I don't know.
All good, my man. All good. Fantastic stuff as always. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your mind with us. It's an important thing. We're going to keep on doing this. Like I said, we keep on punching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in a non-violent way, of course. And we're going to keep shouting at the moon. We're going to keep doing that because somebody needs to. So these are conversations that need to happen, and we'll keep thinking about it. We'll keep talking about it. And we'll be back next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. on Twitch for the news show. If you guys are into that, we do Troubled Minds News, and it's just a quick 1 hour thing of what the news should be instead of all the political drama that they try and run you through every day just to watch a damn news show. So that's what's up. That's what's going on. And at the end of the week, I'm exhausted. I need a nap. It's kind of draining to sit here and just kind of pour your mind into something for so long, right? So I'm glad I'm going to get a little bit of a break, and I'm going to go to sleep. Thanks again, guys. You're all the best. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as we finish, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours. Have a great night. Time to howl, Jay.
Ooh. Sweet dreams, Mike.
Ow! Thanks, guys. We'll catch you later. Again, if you guys are into it, usually folks hop into the caller or the Shoot the Breeze chat and kind of have a voice chat after the show. Or we've been dubbing it the Troubled Minds After Party. So go to troubledminds.org and click the Discord link, and we'll give you a direct invite, and you can just come hop in and say hi and come meet the other folks who are like-minded and all the rest of this. Thank you again, everybody. And like I said, there's some babies for me to kiss. I'm not running for office, but I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great one.